जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। गोपीजन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। गोपीजन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदना ब्रज जनरंजना। यशोदानंदना ब्रज जनरंजना। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपीजना वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपीजना वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदना ब्रज जनरंजना। यशोदानंदना ब्रज जनरंजना। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madan Mohan Radha Madan Mohan Radhe. Jai Gauranithai, 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 Jai Gauranithai. Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladev, Jaya Subhadra. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Nithai Gaura Haribol, 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 Haribol. Jai Vishnupada Paramamsa Parivrajacharya Stotra Sata. Sri Srimadi's Divine Grace Labai Charanaravinda. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Vishnupada Paramamsa Parivrajacharya Stotra Sata. Sri Srimadi's Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। ब्रजभूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय। नवद्वीप श्री मायपुर धाम की जय। पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। गंगा माँ यमुना माई की जय। वृंद देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय। श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। Srila Prabhupada Transcendental Book Distribution की जाए। Their most merciful Lordship Shri Gaunithai की जाए। The most merciful Lordship Sri Sri Radha Madan Mohan Ji ki jai. The most merciful Lordship Sri Sri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki jai. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जाय, समवेत गौर भक्त बंद की जाय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Shaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye. Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Ruttamaśloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 21, entitled Instructions by Maharaj Prithu, text number 45. Maitreya Vacha Iti Bruvanam Drupatamim Iti Bruvanam Drupatim Pitrudeva Dvijatayaha Pitrudeva Dvijatayaha Tushtuva Hrishtam Manasaha Tushtuva Hrishtam Manasaha Sadhuvadena Sadhavaha Sadhuvadena Sadhavaha Maitreya Vacha Iti Bruvanam Drupatim Pitrudeva Dvijatayaha Tushtuvar Hrishta Manasaha Sadhuvadena Sadhavaha Maitreya Vacha Iti Bruvanam Drupatim Pitrudeva Dvijatayaha Tushtuvar Hrishta Manasaha Sadhuvadena Sadhavaha. Maitreya Vacha Iti Bruvanam Rupatim Pitrudeva Dvijatayaha Tushtuvar Hrishta Manasaha Sadhuvadena Sadhavaha. Maitreya Vacha Iti Bruvanam Ripatim Pitrudeva Dvijatayaha Tushtuvar Hrishta Manasaha Sadhuvadena Sadhavaha. Maitreya Vacha Iti Bruvanam Nrpatim Pitrudeva Dvijatayaha Tushtuvar Hrishta Manasaha Sadhuvadena Sadhavaha. Any Matajis? Maitreya Vacha. The great says Maitreya continued to speak. Iti, thus, Bruvanam, while speaking, Nripatim, the king, Pitru, the denizens of Pitruloka, Deva, the demigods, Dvijatayaha, and the twice born, the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas, Tushtuvuhu, satisfied, Krishtamanasaha, greatly pacified in mind, Sadhuvadena, by expressing congratulations, Sadhavaha, all the saintly persons present. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. The great sage Maitreya said, after hearing King Prithu speak so nicely, all the demigods, the denizens of Pitraloka, the Brahmanas and the saintly persons present at the meeting congratulated him by expressing their goodwill. Please repeat. The great sage Maitreya said, after hearing King Prithu speak so nicely, all the demigods, the denizens of Pitraloka, the Brahmanas, and the saintly persons present at the meeting congratulated him by expressing their goodwill. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. When a person speaks very nicely at a meeting, he is congratulated by the audience who express their goodwill with the word sadhu sadhu. This is called sadhuvada. All the saintly persons, pitas, denizens of Pitraloka, and demigods who were present at the meeting and heard Prithu Maharaj expressed their goodwill with the words sadhu sadhu. They all accepted the good mission of Prithu Maharaj and they were fully satisfied. Om Jnanati Vrandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vancha Kalpatarobhyasya Kripa Sindhubheva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam pangam langaiti girim yat kripatamaham mande Shri Gurum Dinatarina Jai Shri Shri Gaunithai Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani Ki Jai. So after hearing from Prithu Maharaj, all the assembled personalities were not just only the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas and the Pitrus. So many Pitrus are there, so many demigods were there, and other members of the society. All of them, they were very happy to hear such beautiful words spoken by Maharaj Prithu. So Srila Prabhupada is speaking about how one becomes happy if someone speaks so nicely. Speech is something which pleases the heart or hurts people also if the speech is not proper. So that is why in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna, he talks about what is austerity of speech. Uh, Anudvegakaram vakyam satyam priyahitam chayat swadhyaya abhyasa chaiva vangmayam tapa uchyate, it is said. So what is austerity of speech? The austerity of speech is anudvegakaram vakyam. The speech should not agitate others, it should please others. And so there can be many things spoken just to please others. But that is not the primary qualification of speech. The primary qualification of speech is it must be satyam, it must be truthful. And then the other corollaries to the speech are given. That is satyam, priyam, hitam chayat. It should first of all be truthful, and then it should be pleasing, and it should be beneficial. All three should be there. If all three are not there, at least two should be there. Satyam, priyam should be there. If two cannot be there, at least one should be there. That is satyam. Even if it is not priyam, hitam. Hitam depends on how you take it. If you are in a good mood, you will take it. If you are not in a good mood, you will not take it. Just like it is said, the milk is given to a Brahmana, milk is given to a serpent also. But Brahmana develops finer understanding of spiritual life by drinking milk, whereas the same milk drunk by a snake develops poison. The input is same, but output is different. Depends on the attitude of a person. So similarly, good speech or good truthful speech actually should increase our conviction towards the Supreme Lord. But if it is not taken properly, then one will develop enmity towards the speaker. So that means that person is not in right attitude, or the person who is speaking may not be in right attitude also. So it depends on both. So that is why it is said, one should not speak to the non-believers. One should only speak to those who are disciples. Srila Prabhupada states very specifically, a teacher should only instruct his students. He should not instruct anybody else. Because if he instructs anybody else, they may get offended. And they may not take those instructions properly and develops inimical attitude towards the teacher. So, one should only speak to those who are believers, or those who have some positive attitude towards the person who is speaking. If it is so with Krishna, then what to speak of anybody else? Krishna is telling Arjuna, idam tu te guhyatamam pravakshami anasuyavya. Oh my dear Arjuna, because you are non-envious of me, I am speaking this, the most confidential knowledge. Otherwise, I wouldn't be speaking to anyone. So Krishna chose Arjuna as the medium to speak transcendental knowledge, because he knows that Arjuna is Krishna's friend, devotee, bhaktosime, sakha cheti, rahasyam hetad uttamam. So we also have to be very clear. We have to follow in the footsteps of Krishna. When we are speaking, we must make sure the people who are hearing from us, they have a positive frame of mind. They are not envious. Envious people, if you speak, what will come out is envy will come out. The poison will come out of them. They will actually blaspheme the Lord, blaspheme the Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and blaspheme you. All this will happen. So one should be very careful not to unnecessarily speak with such people, especially the Mayavadis and the atheistic class of people. They are not in a mood to hear from anyone. They are just interested to simply blaspheme, find faults. So better not to speak to such people. then what is the best thing that we can do? The best thing is to give some prasadam to them so that their mind and heart will be pacified. Nobody will reject prasadam. Prasadam everybody accepts. But this prasadam, speech prasadam, it agitates people. It pricks like a pointed shaft. So one should not unnecessarily speak. So one of the offense to the holy name is to instruct a faithless person. So similarly, one should not speak in a way that is agitating to others. One should be very, very pleasingly speaking to others. Here Pruthumara spoke so beautifully, so pleasingly he spoke. If you see the previous two concluding words of Pruthumaras, they are so beautiful. Anyone who hears them, they'll feel so very happy. You see what Pruthu is saying. O respectable personalities present here, I beg the blessings of all of you that I may perpetually carry on my crown, the dust of the lotus feet of such Brahmanas and Vaishnavas, until the end of my life. See how beautiful he's saying. He's a king, and king always holds king always holds the crown. But he is not asking for a crown made with jewels or gold or diamonds. What is the crown that he is asking? He is asking the crown of the dust of the lotus feet of Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. That is the crown he is asking. I beg the blessings of all of you that I may perpetually carry on my crown, the dust of the lotus feet of such Brahmanas and Vaishnavas, until the end of my life. He who can carry such dust on his head is very soon relieved of all the reactions which arise from sinful life, and eventually he will develop all good and desirable qualities. So those who are submissive to the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas, they will develop all good qualities. Submissive to Brahmanas and Vaishnavas means submissive to the personality of Godhead. It is non-different. When you are submissive to a Vaishnava, pure Vaishnava, it is automatically you are submissive to Krishna, because the pure Vaishnava and Krishna, they are non-different and they are inseparable. They are not non-different, they are inseparable. So, as we discussed or as we heard many times in Srimad Bhagavatam, Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana sarvair gunais tatra samasate suraha harava bhaktasya kuto mahat guna manorathe nasti dhavato bahihi. That how one can develop good qualities by developing unflinching faith in Krishna, akinchana bhakta. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchanaha. If you become an akinchana bhakta, then all good qualities, samasate suraha, all good qualities will come. In fact, this is the only way to develop good qualities. There are no other shortcut methods to develop good qualities. This we must understand very clearly. So many people give us, shortcut methods. Crash course, how to speak nicely. There are many crash courses which will be crashed later on. That is why they are called crash courses. So some people may teach you how to speak nicely, but unless your bhava is good, how can you speak nicely? Unless your heart is pure, heart is pacified, not agitated, how can you possibly speak, speech in such a way that others are happy? Volcanoes are bursting out inside. And how can you possibly speak very peacefully? It's not possible. So, one must be very, very peaceful at heart. And who is peaceful at heart? Whoever is the devotee of Krishna, he is peaceful at heart. It is said, Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakale Ashanta. Those who are desirous of Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami, those who are desiring for sense gratification, those who are desiring for liberation, or those who are desiring different yogic perfections, they can never be peaceful. Bhukti, mukti, siddhi, kami, sakale, ashant. Ashant means they are always disturbed in their mind. And if you hear from them, they cannot possibly make your heart peaceful because they themselves are agitated. Ashant. Ashant means agitated. But it is said, Krishna Bhakta Nishkama Athaiva Shantaha. Because Krishna Bhakta is Nishkama, he is not agitated by anything, he is not desirous of anything material. The only thing that he is looking for is Krishna's mercy, always desiring to serve Krishna. Such a person is very peaceful, and if you hear from such a person, you will also be pacified. You will also, all your agitations are put to rest at once by hearing from such a person. And such a person is called a dhira. Iti sushruma dhiranam. One should hear from dhiras. So who is a dhira here? Dhira is a devotee who is not agitated by anything, bhukti, mukti, siddhi, etc., etc. So such a person, if you hear from such a person, you feel very, very pacified. Even those who are agitated in mind, even if they hear from such a person, they will also be pacified. Not only devotees should hear, but non-devotees also hear from such a person, they'll be pacified. It has a mystical effect on others when such pure persons speak. When Srila Prabhupada went to the West, don't think that in the West people are very submissive. People have all kinds of negative qualities. First of all, they don't like old people. That is the first thing. And the person who has come is old person. Nothing is matching between the people who were hearing from Prabhupada and Prabhupada. There is no match between these two class of people. They don't like old people. They don't like Indians, another thing. They don't like sadhus. And all these things are there. And then Prabhupada is a sadhu. Prabhupada is an Indian. Prabhupada is an old man. And they don't like to hear things such as be submissive to God, worship God. All these things they don't want to hear at all. Not only that, they don't want to hear anything restriction. All the yogis who came to US, they did not put any restrictions. They said, do whatever you like, but do this meditation. Some meditation they taught. So people were okay with that. Just like you go to a allopathy doctor will tell you, you take this medicine, doesn't matter, you don't have to follow any patya. You can eat anything and everything, but take this medicine. That's all. So that is why people like to go to allopathic doctor. But if you go to Ayurvedic doctor, he will tell you a big list of things. Don't eat this, don't eat this, don't eat this, don't eat this, and take this medicine both morning and evening. Add warm water, add little honey to it, all these things. Oh, you'll be so much frustrated, you don't want to follow that. So similarly, when Prabhupada went, he spoke those things which they are not familiar with, but also spoke those things which they do not like from the beginning. No meat eating. All that they were doing is everyday meat eating. No intoxication. They were immersed in intoxication. LSD, marijuana, this and that, they were eating. No gambling, no illicit sex. These were the things that Srila Prabhupada has spoken to the people who do not know anything about Krishna. So if you see, there is no match between what Prabhupada has spoken and who Prabhupada is and the people who are hearing from Prabhupada. But still, they were so much pacified. Their hearts were cleansed. They became submissive. They became Srila Prabhupada disciples. So much so that they dedicated their life in spreading Krishna consciousness. Not only they became devotees, they were instrumental in making so many people devotees. Why? Srila Prabhupada's speech was so much in tune with Krishna. It is Satyam, Priyam, Hitam. Even though sometimes Prabhupada used strong language, these fools and rascals, he would say. Just because Prabhupada used the words fools and rascals, you use the word fools and rascals, there'll be very negative energy will be created. Because Prabhupada was so compassionately speaking fools and rascals. Just like a father talks, you rascal child, don't do like this. When he says, you rascal, you little rascal, when he says, you little rascal, child doesn't get offended. Child understands that my father is speaking with great love. Similarly, when Srila Prabhupada spoke, these rascals and fools, he was not speaking with envy, he was speaking with great love for them. That is why they took it so nicely. So, the point here is that Pruthumara spoke so beautifully that everyone who was present, they were all happy. And they all congratulated him. Sadhu, 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 sadhu. Means, very nice. You have spoken such beautiful words. So what are those words? The conclude, many things that he has spoken. In conclusion, the last two verses, as I was reading, he was saying, let me wear the crown of the dust of the lotus feet of Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. Let me always have this crown. And Srila Prabhupada says that a king who has a big turban, such as, helmet, that helmet becomes more and more heavy if he does not follow the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. The bigger the crown, the greater the doom. Like this. That is what is happening today. Crown doesn't mean only kings have crown. Every leader has a crown. Alright. Small crown or bigger crown, that's all. So in your house also, if you are a leader, you have a crown. Or if you are a public leader, a politician, or this or that, all of them have big, big crowns. And those crowns are only making them burdensome. It is very, very burdensome. So it is said it is burdensome to them and it is also burdensome to the society, both. If you have a leadership position and in that crown, if it is not made of the dust of the lotus feet of Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. Very beautiful expression. Crown should be made of the dust of Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. Later on you add whatever. You add gold, you add silver, you add whatever you add. But the prime ingredient in the crown should be the dust of the lotus feet of Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. So nice. That is why they are very happy to hear such words. My dear sir, I desire, O respectable personalities present here, I beg the blessings of all of you that I may perpetually carry on my crown the dust of the lotus feet of such Brahmanas and Vaishnavas until the end of my life. And he's saying, whoever can carry such crown, all the sinful reactions are wiped away by carrying such dust. Prahlad Maharaj also says the same thing. What is that sloka? Naishad, Naitad, Naisad, what? Naisham matistavad urukramangrim. Yes, Naisham matistavad urukramangrim sprushanti anartham apo. Sprushanti means spreads, means it takes bath. Anarthagamo padartaha mahiyasam padarajobhishekam nishkinchananam na vrinita yavad. So those who dust in the lotus feet of those who take bath in the dust of the lotus feet of Mahiyasam, and they will get actually Krishna Prema. Mahiyasam padarajobhishekam nishkinchananam na vrinita yavad. So, what does it mean to take bath in the dust? Or what does it mean to take bath or to take the crown, which is made up of dust of the lotus feet of Vaishnavas and Brahmanas? Not that, get some dust from their feet, baju hato, take some dust and then make a crown of it or something like that. It's not, literally also it's true. Yes, one should take the dust of the lotus feet of a devotee. But more than that is actually following the instructions of such great personalities. That is actually meaning the taking the dust of the lotus feet of Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. Because Brahmanas and Vaishnavas are always dedicated to the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They will never deviate from the Lord's instructions. So that is why one should take the dust. That means one should always rule by the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas' advice. Then your crown will be lighter. A crown which is made up of dust, isn't it light? Only the crown which is made up of gold and emeralds and jewels and diamonds is very, very heavy. But a crown which is made of dust is very, very light. So another verse, another concluding word that Maharaj Prithu spoke. Whoever acquires the Brahmanical qualifications, whose only wealth is good behavior, who is grateful and who takes shelter of experienced persons, gets all the opulence of the world. Very, very, very instructive sloka. Many people want the whole world's opulence to be with them, isn't it? You want to gain the whole world's opulence? Hear carefully how you can acquire this. I want to acquire the whole wealth of the world. Yes, this is what it is. Whoever acquires Brahmanical qualifications, especially whose only wealth is good behavior, who is grateful, and who takes shelter of experienced persons. Three things that are spoken. Number one, whose only wealth is good behavior. Good behavior, how will good behavior come? Good behavior means not some external behavior. Good behavior comes when there is good consciousness. So from good consciousness, good behavior comes. And how good consciousness will come? When the contamination in the heart is taken away, then the good consciousness remains. And how the contamination in the heart is taken away? By chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, all that is troublesome in the heart is taken away. Cheto darpana marjanam. So, in this way, when the consciousness is purified, then from that purified consciousness comes good behavior. And one should think that that is the only thing that I should strive for. He's saying, whose only wealth is good behavior. Sometimes what we do, we sell our good behavior for some wealth. We don't mind speaking a lie to gain some material wealth. Or we don't mind putting some allegations on a good person for some political gain. That means what are we sacrificing? We are sacrificing good behavior for some kind of material benefit. So for such people, this is not applied. Whose only wealth is good behavior. That means your good behavior is sellable. Your so-called good behavior is sellable. You can sell it. Sell it for some money. That means you don't have good behavior, sir. Good behavior, it is said, Manorathe nasti dhavato bahihi. Harava bhaktasya kuto mahadguna. Manorathe nasti dhavato bahihi. Even if someone is displaying so-called good qualities, if he is not a devotee, 100% is guaranteed that he will sell it. When his mind trips off, he will become bad again. So such a behavior is not called good behavior. But a devotee of Krishna, he is really a devotee of Krishna, his behavior is all good. Even if he has done something bad, apichet suduracharo bhajate mam ananya bhak. Sadhureva samantavyaha samvyag vyavastito hi saha. So much difference is there. Because good or bad is not defined by one's circumstances or one's mind. Good or bad are defined in reference to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and devotion towards Him. If you are devoted to Krishna, there is a potential to become good. If you are not a devotee of Krishna, even though temporarily you may manifest good qualities, they will turn out to be bad qualities in due course of time. So that is how good or bad is defined. Sometimes we say, oh, that person is a very nice person. That's fine. If that person is a very nice person, to remain nice, he must become a devotee. Otherwise, he will not be nice. Sooner or later, his niceness will go away. We must understand this. So, he is saying, whose only wealth is good behavior and who is always grateful. Ungrateful person is not even a human being. Even animals are grateful. What to speak of human beings? Gratefulness is expressed towards whom? Gratefulness is expressed towards Krishna because everything is supplied by Krishna. So ultimately one should be grateful to God. Devarshi bhutaptanunam pitrunam nakinkaro nayam ranincha rajan sarvatmanaya sharanam sharanyam gato mukundam parihritya kartam. If you have received something from someone, you must be grateful to them. So, we are grateful to everyone in this world. Devas means the demigods, rishis, the different other living entities, our friends and relatives, our family ancestors. Everyone we are indebted to them because we have received something from them. The name is given by your mother and father, surname is given by your pitrus. And your day-to-day light, heat, everything is supplied by different demigods. Indra, Chandra, Agni, Surya. So you are all actually in debt to all these people. How will you pay off this debt? How many people you can pay off the debt? Every day oxygen we are, taking, it is coming from different trees. How can you pay off the debt? So better you pay off the debt to one person, then all the debt is paid off. And who is that person? Supreme Personality of Godhead. You pay the debt to Krishna, just like you pour the water at the root, to all the trees and twigs and everything, it gets spread. Similarly, if you pay the debt to Krishna, Sarvatmanaya Sharanam Sharanyam Gato Mukundam Parihritya Kartum. So the real gratitude is expressed when you become a devotee of Krishna. Because when you become a devotee of Krishna, we simply serve Krishna, whatever Krishna has given to us. So that is the second point he said. Whose only wealth is good behavior, who is grateful, and third, who takes shelter of saintly persons, experienced persons. So Prabhupada writes very nicely. He uses the word vruddha ashrayam. The word that is used by Prithu Maharaj is vruddha ashrayam. Generally, vruddha means aged people, we say. There are two kinds of vruddhas. Jnana vruddha, vayo vruddha. Jnana vruddha means one who is experienced by knowledge is called jnana vruddha. Vayo vruddha means who is advanced in age is called vayo vruddha. Generally, our etiquette is that we take advices from experienced people. Experienced people means, in our opinion, those who are elders. It's not necessarily all elders have knowledge. Sukadeva Goswami was only 16-year-old boy. But great sages have taken shelter of him. Suta Goswami was a young man compared to Saunaka Rishi. Saunaka Rishi is a very, very, very old person. But he took advice from Suta Goswami. So, Jnana Vruddha is what he is speaking about. Jnana Vruddha means those who are fructified with knowledge. Such persons, when we take shelter of, that means we take help from such persons, then you can gain the whole wealth of this world, is what he's saying. And what else he's saying? I therefore wish that the Supreme Personality of Godhead and His associates be pleased with the Brahmana class, with the cows, and with me. So let all these persons, let the Lord, Lord's devotees, the Brahmanas, everyone, Vaishnavas, they are pleased with me. Cows, let them be pleased with me. This is what he is desiring. So in this way, speaking like this, he actually melted the hearts of all the people who were assembled there. So this is an example of what is a good speech, which is flown from good consciousness. Pruthumara's speech. So if anyone wants to do research of what is good speech, they should come to 4th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam and hear from what Pruthumara said. Then this is an example of good speech. Sometimes people, take essays from, the lectures from this politician, that philosopher, this philosopher, and show these excerpts from the lectures and say this is an example of good speech. No, example of a good speech is there in the 4th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. How much he has pleased everyone who assembled there by speaking like this. We just took the 2 last sample verses, which are like the essence of what he has spoken. But everything that whatever Pruthumara spoke was so soothing to the hearts of people that they just were very happy. And they blessed him, sadhu, 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 sadhu. Well spoken, well spoken, well spoken. May you receive the blessings of Lord and all the Vaishnavas. So that was their expression. Everyone, without any exception, everyone was very happy by hearing such speech. So, it's a great example for us, the speech of Prithu Maharaj. If we can take the elements of his speech and analyze those elements, how truthful he was, how controlled he was, how soothingly he was speaking, then our speech also can improve greatly. So these are some points for today's verse. Anyone has any question or comment? You can ask.
If speaker, you told just he has good qualities if he speaks and he elevated others. So the hearer qualification, if he doesn't have these 3 components in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna told Pranipata and Pariprashna Sevaya, and even the speaker speak with you told truth and pleasing and beneficial others, how it will be affected if it doesn't have, hearer doesn't have the components, that 3 qualities?
See, in generally what happens? The speaker accuses the audience accuses the speaker. This goes on perpetually. Because of you, I am not getting good. So instead of worrying about what the audience are, speaker should worry about his own qualifications. Am I speaking truth? Am I exercising caution in my speech to not to agitate others? Am I in a pleased mood? Before coming to Bhagavatam class, I had a fight with my wife. And I have to give a Bhagavatam class. What will come from Bhagavatam? I'm just giving an example sometimes. See, we ISKCON managers are so much caught up in management sometimes that you sometimes come and fight with another devotee and you have to give a class because you are a senior devotee. What will come from that class? Think about it. Some elements will come, no? Isn't it? So that is why we should always think how we can improve our qualities. Our qualities means if you are a speaker, you improve your qualities. It's not that one is always a speaker and not a hearer. Always remember, you're always a speaker, you're always a hearer. So both qualities you must develop. But especially when you are speaking, you should exercise this caution that am I Satyam, Priyam, Hitam. Sometimes Bhagavatam class becomes a platform for, putting some fire in somebody's heart. So you wanted to scold someone. Directly you cannot scold. So you use Bhagavatam verses. Prabhupada said like this, he knows you know, both of you know. He knows that you are targeting him. So he gets pinched so much. So after Bhagavatam class he will come. I will also get an opportunity to give Bhagavatam class. I will settle the scores. He will settle this. See, Bhagavatam class becomes a platform for settling the scores. What Bhagavatam will flow. So one should not do such things. One should not speak Bhagavatam to get back to someone or to indicate some fault in someone. That's not at all good. So you should speak Bhagavatam only to glorify Krishna, glorify Vaishnavas. So much opportunity of glorification is there. And similarly, the audience should not sit in such a way. Let me see what today this fellow will speak. I'll give a review after his speech. 1 star, 2 stars, 3 stars, 4 stars, 5 stars, I will give a review. What review will you give, sir? If you are sitting with that attitude, you are nonsense. Better not to sit with that attitude. You go away and do something else. That is tantamount to offense to a Bhagavatam speaker. If you cannot sit submissively, my dear Krishna, let you vibrate through his mouth some good speech so that I can accept that and implement in my life. You act through his speech. That should be our prayer to Krishna. Even if someone who is inexperienced person who may not be a very good advanced devotee speaking, but Krishna has potency to act through his speech and elevate our consciousness. So when we sit like that and pray, even an ordinary devotee can speak some wonderful things and that will touch our heart. So that should be the attitude of people who are sitting in Bhagavatam class. Not become judges to give star rating. Such people can never benefit from Bhagavatam speech. Or find fault with this person. See, this person is speaking so much, look at his behavior. Then why are you sitting in that class? You go and sit in somebody else's class whom you can glorify. Why are you sitting in that person's class? So, everyone has to think of their own side instead of blaming the other side. Any other?
అంటే ఇక్కడ అంటే లైఫ్ ఎండ్ దాకా డస్ట్ యొక్క ఇన్స్ట్రక్షన్స్ తీసుకొని లైట్ ఎండ్ దాకా పాటించాలని అక్కడ చెప్తున్నారు పృథ్వీ మహారాజ్. లైఫ్ ఎండ్ లైఫ్ దాకా వాళ్ళ యొక్క డస్ట్ తీసుకొని పాటించాలని చెప్తున్నారు. అంటే మన కండిషనింగ్ ఎట్లుందంటే భాగవతం క్లాస్లో వరకు అబ్జర్వ్ చేస్తాం, ఆ తర్వాత బయటికి వెళ్ళిపోయినాక అన్నీ డస్ట్ వెళ్ళిపోతుంది, డస్ట్ దుమ్ముకున్నట్టు అవుతుంది. అంటే ఈ కండిషన్ నుంచి ఎట్లా బయటికి రావాలి?
If dust is mixed with some, they also make some nice articles with the dust also. Not just with dust. Mixed with some water, some other rasayana if you mix, then it becomes a very beautiful dye. So similarly, not only holding the dust, but holding the dust with our submission, that ingredient will actually make it stay there forever. Only dust if you put, it will fly away with air. But I'm just giving an example. Dust means, I don't really mean that. So our attitude should be proper. Our attitude should always be, pleasing, should be praising attitude. Our attitude should not be fault finding, especially those who are uh, in a guiding position. We should always have a favorable attitude towards them. Unfavorable attitude will destroy us. So we should give benefit of doubt to those people who are guiding us. So in this way, we can regularly participating in Bhagavatam class, regularly meditating. Today Krishna is giving some special jewels to me through Bhagavatam. Like that, if you sit, I know so many people sit in Bhagavatam class with great interest. I also know so many people sit in Bhagavatam class when this class will be over. With that mood also some people sit. They get so much rejuvenation when the speaker says, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. That's when they wake up. With Jai Radha Madhava, their sleep will start. And Srila Prabhupada ki jai, they become awake. They become rejuvenated when Mahaprasade Govinde chanted. So that is not a very good thing. One should be very eager. When you are sitting in Bhagavatam class, we should, as I said, we should pray to Krishna. Let something be flown from the mouth of this devotee which will touch my heart and which can change my consciousness. They say, no, in the advertisement, an idea can change a life. One word can change. One word can change one's life completely. One word. Right time, right word should enter into your heart, your whole life will change. And that can be there in the speech. Anybody may speak, that can be there. If you allow Krishna to put that in your heart, then it will stay. Otherwise it will fall off. All right? Yes. You have a mic? Not working? Yeah, now it's.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dhanvat pranams.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, you were emphasizing on three aspects, that is cultivating of good behavior, gratitude, and taking shelter of experienced persons. So I just wanted to know, with respect to gratitude, how is it that we can go more deeper in cultivating that and let it not be restricted to a superficial thank you or external behavior?
Gratitude is a wealth which increases when it is expressed in actions than words. Generally, we express gratitude simply by saying thanks. We restrict to that. But actually, when we act upon that means you just don't say thanks, but you also do something for that person. Prabhupada said lip service is not sufficient. Devotional service is not lip service. It's actually expression of one's love to Krishna through actions. Manasa deho geho jo kichu mor arpilu tuva pade nanda kishore. He's saying, my mind, my body, my home, my wealth, everything I wanted to offer at your lotus feet, my dear Krishna. That is real gratitude. Not simply saying Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. That is gratitude for sure. But there is much more than to that. This gratitude of chanting Hare Krishna should lead us to offer everything to Krishna. One must act on grateful platform. Then gratitude increases. Generally we restrict, we think that our gratitude is, you say thank you, the contract is over. You think. They did something and I said thank you, now the contract is over. Contract began, not over. When you say thank you, the contract began. So much of ideological difference is there between devotees and non-devotees. Right? Thank you all very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Samaveda Bhav Gaura Bhakta Band ki jai.